Why is a ship carrying cargo from China refusing to leave Sri Lankan waters despite being asked to do so by authorities? The answer is a crucial shipment gone horribly wrong, leading to a rare diplomatic tussle between two close allies, the blacklisting of a bank, and a group of farmers and scientists up in arms. The ship in question, the Hippo Spirit, departed from China in September carrying 20,000 tons of much-needed organic fertilizer to Colombo. The order was placed after the Sri Lankan government suddenly stopped all chemical fertilizer imports in May to convert the country into the world's first completely organic farming nation. It's the first consignment of Colombo's plans to purchase 99,000 tons of organic fertilizer from Qingdao Seawind Biotech Group, a Chinese company specializing in seaweed-based fertilizer, at a cost of $49.7 million. So given the desperate requirement for organic fertilizer, why is there a controversy over this shipment? The issue is with the quality of the fertilizer, which scientists say, instead of helping, could prove harmful to crops. They insist that since the cargo has implications for the biosecurity of the country, it cannot be accepted. The decision has triggered an angry rebuttal from Qingdao Seawind. It has accused the Sri Lankan media of using terms like toxic, garbage, pollution, and other derogatory words to slander the image of the Chinese enterprises and the Chinese government.
The unscientific detection method and conclusion of National Plant Quarantine Service in Sri Lanka obviously do not comply with International Animal and Plant Quarantine Convention, the company thundered in a statement. As the controversy escalated, a court ordered the state-owned People's Bank to stop payment of $9 million for the cargo already awaiting entry. The Chinese embassy in Colombo responded by blacklisting the bank for not honoring the payment to the company. The Qingdao Seawind has also demanded $8 million compensation from the Sri Lankan National Plant Quarantine Service for the loss of reputation it has suffered following the controversy. And as all this unfolds on shore, the ship has not left Sri Lanka's waters. When Sri Lankan port authorities denied permission for it to unload its cargo in late October, Hippo Spirit moved away from the Colombo harbor and reportedly sailed to waters off the coast of arms.The port on its southern coast. Now, latest images by the marine traffic website indicate the ship is currently stationed near Sri Lanka's southwestern coast, not far from Colombo. The message is clear. The Chinese company is not willing to take back its cargo. Following recent meetings with Chinese embassy officials, Shashindra Rajapaksa, a Sri Lankan junior minister, said they had agreed to retest a fresh sample through a mutually agreed third-party laboratory. "We were not forced into this, but they only made a request," Mr. Rajapaksa said, adding the current shipment cannot reach Sri Lanka. If the cargo is returned to China, that would be a big loss of face for Qingdao Seawind and the Chinese government. The company says it exports organic fertilizer to more than 50 countries, including Australia and the US. However, some in Sri Lanka have questioned their government's ability to withstand Chinese pressure tactics. Beijing has loaned billions of dollars to the country as part of its Belt and Road initiative to build infrastructure in Asia. However, not all of the funding has worked in Sri Lanka's favor. For example, in 2017, China Merchants Port Holdings took a majority share with a 99-year lease in the strategically important arms.The port after Colombo struggled to repay the debt incurred to build it. Some Western analysts believe that Sri Lanka has walked into a Chinese debt trap. But Sri Lankan officials insist that despite China's financial muscle, no organic fertilizer that violates current regulations will be allowed into the country. "We have categorically told the company that they can take the product back to China and send fresh samples from another batch. If it passes the regulatory standards, definitely they will be able to send another consignment of fertilizer," Dr. De Silva asserted. While the officials from the two countries spar over the fertilizer, tens of thousands of Sri Lankan farmers are looking at a bleak paddy farming season without the much-needed agricultural input. Rice farmers like Ara and Rathnayaka, from the southeastern Monaregala district, say the government's abrupt ban on chemical fertilizers and pesticides has massively impacted the agrarian community. He suggested that the country should move towards organic farming in a phased manner. Experts like Professor Budi Marambi from the University of Peradeniya add that converting to total organic farming will harm the agricultural economy because the yield of staple crops like paddy could drop sharply. Following reports that the country's famous Ceylon tea was under threat, and after countrywide protests by farmers, the government eased some of its rules on synthetic fertilizer. In the recently concluded UN Climate Change Conference in Glasgow, Sri Lanka's President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said the overuse of chemical fertilizers had resulted in health issues like chronic kidney disease, resulting in his government's firm stance on curtailing imports. But some analysts point out that the decision to ban chemical fertilizers was to limit expensive imports, something the government denies. The country's foreign exchange reserves dropped to $2.3 billion by the end of October, and the government has already restricted the import of various other items in an effort to tackle the crisis. Regardless of the reason behind the chemical fertilizer ban, some say the government now finds itself in a precarious situation. It's facing the displeasure of Beijing while its own farmers and agricultural experts are up in arms.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.